landscapes have captured people's imagination. The question for architects is, how do we tell their stories?
We wanted to bring people out on country and get them to understand our culture and express our link to country. So we got the managers, the public service managers, and said to them, the community wants to develop an enterprise, a tourism enterprise. We got a phone call from Matt and Poppy, and then we went on to be the team that built these wonderful structures. I wanted to like the design to when you go to the theatre, then the curtain opens and you see what's on stage, all the backdrop.
These little sleeping pods are like a tiny version of the main entry.
We referred back to the source material a lot, and George Augustus Robinson, who was a 19th century missionary, he described a large dome that catered for 22 individuals, which is the dimension of the main dome, and then these smaller domes are based on what he called beehive huts. There was not a tree cut down. Every tree was sacred, and we use that to start to cite the experience. And a lot of the sensibilities that the Land Council have and the Aboriginal community have feed very well into the kind of language of the very best sort of architecture that we wanted to produce.
This project is unique. It's a meeting between the oldest continuous culture in the world and contemporary architecture.
Let's face it, the design of most apartment buildings is driven by budget alone. They lack flair and personality. But this one begs to differ.
We looked at a number of houses in the area and looked at all the common themes amongst them. And if you take this one, for example, over here, it's lots of masonry, built in the masonry tradition, really expressive window treatments, lots of light and shadow, deep balcony reveals, and then we've brought them across here and used them and expressed them in a much more contemporary manner. And there's 42 apartments packed in behind this, what appears to be 2 houses.
We wanted to create a building that was quite different to anything else about, and we wanted an iconic building that really made people stop in the street and want to get out and have a look at it. And this is what we got, and we're thrilled to bits with it.
So Danny, this is very different to the apartment I've just seen.
We actually purchased 2 apartments and merged them as one. It's a great space for us. It's a 3-bedroom apartment. We feel part of the community. We're close to parks. We're close to the shops and the cafes, and more importantly, the local schools for my 5-year-old son.
What is most unusual about the Circa apartment development, and what I love most, is that Jim the developer, Simon the architect, have actually considered, above all else, the owners.
When the owners found this 150-year-old Melbourne terrace, not much could be saved. But that gave the architect a really unusual problem. So Andrew, help me out here. What is new and what is not?
Well, actually, the only part of the building that's original is the facade. You know, we ask ourselves our questions, if we've got to replace it with something, we've got to replace it with something better. You'll see we've got these cornices here, and you'll see those curves throughout the house as we walk through it. And we've even got things like these skirts here, where we've done them in solid oak, and we've got these lovely dovetail pieces.
So you really laboured the detail, a little like they did in a Victorian terrace.
So Tim, here we've come through into the extension, so to speak. And you'll see where we used to have the large cove ceilings in the front room, we've now got the flat hand-painted timber ceilings.
So the timber's like a beautiful Danish sideboard. This is stunning.
It's glorious, it's lovely chestnut veneer.
So this is where a lot of that craft seems to come together, a classic dressing room, but it's so rich.
Yes, well the fun in this project was finding people that can actually do a lot of these finishes and details that we discussed in the office. You know, we've got this lovely lady that does these pre-aged mirrors out in the suburbs.
These are extraordinary. This is like from 1923. And then there's this serene space here over the stairs.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's beautiful about doing a renovation, Tim, is that you get the opportunity to do some more one-off moments that you won't get to do in a new house sometimes. Anyway, let's dive back in. It's easy to forget in this house that it's actually in inner city Melbourne, and it's a terrace house that we have here. So when it came time to putting any sizable pool in, the only option was to go down.
How do you reimagine the craft and detail of another time today, when all you have left is the front facade? The answer is set some rules, be playful, and always leave room for some restraint.